together. Come on. I don't wanna lose this good thing that I got.
Howdy ho, and welcome back to the House of Plum. This is our 4th edition of the show. Topic is going to be UFOs and conspiracy theories and Transformers. And here's Josh back again, and we also got a few new faces to the show. The original guests are still here, but they put together a new band for us called Rareform, and they're going to play later on in the show. This is their first television debut. So hopefully you guys will like them, and I know we did. So these are our new guests here on the right and left. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Ladies first.
Oh, great. I get to start. Okay. Hi, I'm Amanda, and I work with Frank, so that's how I met Frank, and yeah that's it.
Yeah.
I'm Jason, and we just became friends on Facebook real quick, and then here I am.
Yeah, that's pretty much our guest lineup today. We're just going to start talking about UFOs and if they're real or not, or what.
Yeah. Well,
did you have any special ideas you wanted to bring up?
Well, actually, I just want to go on off of base of, like things that we've seen on like maybe public media or any like personal experiences. Like I've had some like weird experiences myself, like maybe like seeing weird things in the sky, or like maybe like large flashes of light just out of nowhere with no other signs of any problems going on from where I'm at.
I did too the other night when I was working, actually. I saw this, I think it was a helicopter though, that thing I showed you last night.
Yeah.
It like kind of faded away in the sky, then it was like all those lights and everything.
You didn't hear like the helicopter sound at all?
Did you hear a sound? Did you hear a sound?
If you heard the sound,
I heard
I'm
something,
sorry.
but I was so tired, and it was like in the middle of the night, and I was working, I was really paying attention. But then the lights started happening. It was like fading. It was like, it turned, and it was just like going away. Okay. And it just looked like a UFO. But I don't think it is. But.
Was it in a southern sky? Because I've seen one like that a couple years back where it was just like, it hovered there for like 20 minutes.
It didn't really hover. It was going. I think it was either a plane or a UFO, or I mean, helicopter, to be honest.
Could have been either one of those things.
Yeah, because it was turning, because I was right by the airport.
Right.
But the way it was leaving, it had lights, and it just, like, some of the videos you showed me kind of did the same thing, where it had lights flashing on and off and moving in different directions.
Well, I've seen some weird things, and that I live by the airport, and like, I'm used to hearing airplanes, helicopters, and stuff like that, and sometimes like by the school that I live by, you would see nothing around the whole neighborhood, but where the football field is, you'll see nothing but mist covering that whole area. Then that's when the really strange things start to happen, like weird flashing lights and like a humming. Like one time, me and my friends, we were, I can't remember what we were doing. I think we were either getting ready to go do some drinking or we were getting ready to go do something else, and we seen a guy in a wheelchair just stop in the middle of the street where my street's at, and just was waiting there and going like this in the air, and like we turned away and like the dude was gone. Huh. It was weird.
That was creepy.
Have you guys ever?
No, I haven't actually.
Any stories or anything from anybody else?
Well, I would say UFO stories rather than the one in Lakeville when I was there for a while. But paraphenomenal ones, yeah. I used to have a house in Elkhart where it was like, you could tell there was things going on, and like I would always have someone over, and I'd wait and watch their responses, and within 15 minutes, every time, new people would be like looking around, like, "You okay?" Like, I saw a lady in black. It's like, "Oh yeah, right, that's so and so," and I would tell them a little story about it, but definitely would be like 15 different things going on each time.
Really?
Yeah.
In Elkhart?
In Elkhart, yeah.
Wow.
It's fun times.
Yeah, the only
I haven't
paranormal-
really encountered anything either, but
I haven't
That's
encountered
like-
any UFO or anything like that, but paranormal stuff. There's supposedly a ghost in my house, but her name is Carrie. She was the original owner of the house.
really?
And yeah, and when we first moved in, my mom moved back earlier, and like my dad and I and my sister were still living overseas at the time, and she was here for like 6 months by herself, and she was living in the house, and her brother and her sisters, or her brothers and her sister came out to visit while she was getting stuff set up and everything. And my aunt really like does not like ghosts at all, like even like the concept at all. And so my mom was telling the story about the owner. Her name's Carrie, and how she, I don't know, I don't remember how the story came up. So my uncle decided, oh, we're gonna turn her into a ghost, and so he would like, you know, make like stories up about her, and then my aunt would claim that she saw her like walking around the house or something like that late at night. And so I don't know if it's like true or not, but we have like a photo of Carrie in our house, and I've never seen her, but my aunt has apparently. So
Just go around the Polaroid.
yeah.
I wish I would have told you about this topic beforehand, so I could have brought that in. That was neat to see. But
Yeah, about the picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the picture with me, so but it's cool.
And what about like local phenomena like Primrose Road in South
Oh,
Bend?
I have some stories about Primrose. My first night I went to Primrose, I was it was either my first or second night, can't remember, but I was dating this one girl named Angie, and we went there with her brother, my friend Sharon, and I think somebody else. I think it might have been her sister or something like that. And we went down on Primrose, and we went into the middle of the road, and this one section of road is nothing but gravel and rock. So we're sitting in the middle of the woods, and it's all dark, and we just, we stop, and we get out, and we start walking. Well, right when we start walking, the hairs on the back of my neck start standing up, and I feel like ice cold needles all over my body. Then like everybody else starts freaking out, and they run into the Jeep that we were in. So we get in, and we close the doors and stuff like that, roll up the windows, and my friend put his parking brake on, and after he put the parking brake on, he turned all the lights off, turned off the radio. Something started crawling up on the roof and scratching on the roof, and something was pushing the car, and the brakes were squealing. And so like mostly everybody's freaking out. Like, well, when I say mostly everybody, I mean my ex-girlfriend at that time was freaking out. So so I'm in the back, and I'm saying prayers, I'm like doing the whole Catholic thing and stuff like that, because at that time I was brought up Catholic, so I was like like doing my Hail Marys and stuff like that. So after all that stuff happened, he figured, it's like, all right, well, enough's enough. We turned the car on, took the parking brake off, and we went to this McDonald's, I think, off of McKinley, in South Bend. And we were looking at the back, and we seen one giant handprint on the left side of the car, and one little handprint that looked like it came from a toddler
Are you sure
on
it
the
wasn't
right
yours?
side. and it was weird, because like the whole car was dirty, and the cleanest parts were those two handprints were. And when you looked up, all the paint and stuff from the guardrails and on the top of the car, you saw multiple scratch marks.
Oh. Wasn't some wild animal or something? Or Bigfoot?
No, actually, there's a story that there was, I guess, a witch or something that used to
Yeah, I've
live
heard
not that
something
far
about
from there.
that, yeah.
That's one of the stories, but it was, I guess it was like a woman in black or something like
Okay.
that.
There was like a house that had like candles around it or something. I think.
Actually, that's an actual house that's there, and
Yeah.
those aren't candles. It's just, you know,
Well, I
like,
don't remember. It was something.
those are electrical candles. I took a good look at that house. I checked that out myself. But
Well, that's what Adam told me one time when we went out there. And
yeah, I've seen like a green mist follow me when I was there. Like it was like a dark green mist, and like I've watched this whole thing because there was like maybe like my 5th time there, and it started from like maybe like 100 feet away, and it went to like 50 feet away, like from over here, and like it slowly went to like right over there.
so I've been out there plenty of times, but I never went at night, and I haven't seen anything yet. I'm too scared to go by myself. I don't know if anything out there is real or not, but
I've even seen like things that look like spirits or demons in my house, and like I've always like seen these weird things when I was younger. Like I saw this one thing standing in my doorway, and it looked like it was about like 6 feet tall, and this sucker was like huge and muscular, and it had like 2 antlers.
things here. Tom, is that your new music for us?
The cameras are haunted now.
Right? It's playing music.
Well, there's actually a cemetery by that street too. That's supposed to be haunted on Adams Road.
Yeah. I heard about
remember
it.
that?
Yeah,
Crying
there's from
statues.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. What about Gravity Hills? Anyone been to Gravity Hills, where it's like you park and at night
I've heard of it.
you eventually go up the hill?
My dad's tried that before, like in one of, you know, when he was about our age and stuff, and like he said that stuff has actually happened
Right.
to him. Like, but he also said that at some of his buddies saw flashing lights in the background of the woods, and I guess it was like maybe like UFOs guiding the cars going up.
Could have been. There's got to be some kind of an explanation for it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think UFOs are real, though. I mean, I really highly doubt in the vastness of the universe that there's not any kind of other life out there.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Even if it's just plant life. A planet was just plant life or something.
Yeah.
Or sea creatures.
yeah, something that I noticed that every religion,
Yeah.
every
Like in The Simpsons.
yeah, every religion has even, you know, shown that, you know, they've seen some sort of creature other than us, rather if it's, you know, from the sky or like Bigfoot or something like that.
Right.
I mean, like, that's another thing I want to talk about is, you know, mythical creatures, Bigfoot. I mean,
Those are
like,
fun.
seriously.
Actually, the latest show I seen about that, they think Bigfoot might be like a Neanderthal, like caveman.
Mhm.
Just all covered in hair that's been left over from prehistoric times.
I mean, indigenous.
Yeah.
Like a
races,
show,
yeah.
Yeah.
Bigfoot or something.
Yeah.
But
It's possible.
can't find any burial grounds or anything like
Well, they probably
that.
hide so secludedly. I mean, there's even like under the sea. They're so it's like so deep. We haven't explored like everything, so
Yeah.
why not? I mean, the forests are so deep and everything. So
Right.
I mean, they have found some things like broken trees. Like they don't know how it got broken and things like that. They think it could be like from Bigfoot.
You
I
know,
don't
at one point in time, there was really not much, you know, as water as we had.
Right.
The more the Earth has, you know, went around, it, you know, formed and formed and formed, and, you
I
know,
believe Pangea, all the continents
Right.
were together, so all the water was on the other side of the continent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
pretty much.
reality,
And all
so
the tectonic plates started breaking
they're
and
breaking
moving.
up, yeah. So then it appears that we have more water than we probably do.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, what, an inch a year we're moving?
Yeah, yeah. Is that part of the
I
conspiracy?
doubt it. Every year I keep finding new cracks in the house. So
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Well, they have those. Well, they have the potholes are the ones that the sinkholes that are moving
Yeah.
up through what?
Like in Florida or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, Florida, Tennessee. I've heard some, and you
Those-
some
That's
of the
scary. Like you'd be
Potholes
sitting
are
in your
really bad,
house and all of a
yeah.
sudden you go down
Your
the hole.
whole-
right.
You know, didn't we see something like on the internet last night where it was, where I think they were trying to like connect all the sinkholes together and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, are you serious?
It was my mom showed me this video. So my sister's moving out to the DC area, and there's this street that like all these cars are parked on, and we're watching. She's showing me this video, and in the video, like slowly the cars are starting to sink this way, and this is in DC, like on a main street in DC. Like, I have no idea where exactly, but it's in DC, and the people are all out in the street, and they're like watching their cars literally fall, and then all of a sudden you just see it crash, and the whole thing, all like that half the street just collapses into the ground, and like it's like
Wow.
this big, I don't even know what you would call that, but
Do
a
you think
pit or whatever.
Maybe there's something else that we don't see.
like a landslide or something.
Yeah.
Maybe even like I don't know. The government's got facilities like Area 51 underneath their surfaces.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be creepy.
Who knows, right?
You don't
Well,
know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
do you think we should start giving the band some time?
Yeah, if they want to get in their position.
I think they're getting kind of ready there. They're getting anxious to make
Yeah.
their first debut. Tom's been sitting over there for like 5 minutes now.
right. He's born ready.
Well, this is Rareform and their first television debut. I don't know the name of the song, so.
Alright, this song is called Heart in a Jar. I can't wait for someone to ask, young man, where is your heart? So I can say it's at home, it's on this shelf, it's in a mason jar. Just like a knife, the words cut to the bone. And I said I was leaving, 'cause I need to be alone. And I got the message when you stop picking up the phone. I found my true self when I scared everyone back home. So I'm told. I've made mistakes, and I'll blame it on bad luck. And I said I was sorry, but I just blame it on bad luck. And I got the message when I learned you weren't alone. I found my true self when I learned to stand on my own. So I hope
Cool.
All right, that's pretty
Nice.
good, guys. Well, that was Rareform in their first television debut. Did you guys like it?
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Got a lot of groove to it.
Yeah. All right. So next topic, or are we going to continue?
I wanted to talk about a little bit of something. I'm like kind of a government conspiracist type of guy myself, and
Like what kind of conspiracies?
well, stuff like from this little symbol right here. Oh, just to let you know, I'm not endorsing this book. It just
I don't think you have to
brought
tell
it
them
because of this symbol.
Is that the? Let me see real quick. Is that the all-seeing eye?
Yeah,
Like
the
from,
all-seeing
National
eye.
Treasure or
Yeah.
something?
Well, there's a lot of like different things about it. Like I guess it's like a Masonic symbol.
Yeah. Okay.
For the Freemasons and stuff like that. So they they say so much. Like I'm like really into stuff like that. Like anything that's like tying like the Illuminati and the Freemasons to the government. Like I'm like all about it. It's like I'm like pumped when I see a special on TV or something.
Yeah. What intrigues you the most about it, though?
Kind of like how basically it's like from when they say like like our government is that it's like really it's like
Right.
like the whole like wanting to control like like your lower level people.
Right. Yeah, so like the Freemasons back in when they first started and they first had colonized with the Britain and all them over here, they were so secretive that they would actually kill you by burying you in the sand all up to your head if you had spoken any tongues against or any secrets laying outside of that borderline.
Yeah.
So, and that was also include like the wives, children, anybody. They were pretty brutal, yeah. Some of the stories, like if you research them a little bit and like look into those are like some crazy stuff that they have going on.
I've heard of all that, but I don't really know what it is.
Yeah, I've even heard that Jesse James and who was it? Billy the Kid were Freemasons, from what I heard, and I heard that both of them faked their deaths.
It's very possible.
And that they, consistently through the time, they would, get these, when the family was having hard times, would suddenly come up with the money to help, like get food and stuff like that. And there was a spot that they shown where supposedly Billy the Kid would get his payments from, and there was like 5 mason jars full of money and gold.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Me neither.
Yeah. Wow. So what is his book about? Like, is it talk about the symbol, or is it?
I haven't had a chance to read this one yet,
okay.
but I read another one called Agenda 21.
Okay.
And basically it's it takes place in something that would be considered like what would be like a FEMA camp, from the whole conspiracy of what a FEMA camp is. They're like in these compounds, they basically sleep in like cement bunkers and stuff like that, and like you're regulated to make your own energy. You're not allowed to eat meat. They give you like these nutrition bars and stuff like that, and basically like you have no rights, and everything that you do is for the land. And you have like your hierarchy government that rules over everybody to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And if anybody even comes up with the idea of rebelling, they get recycled. Yeah, so
That's a
it's
clever way
So
to
that's
put it.
basically what Freemasons are all about.
well, no, but you know,
Freemasons are a different category in itself. This is FEMA, which is like,
Oh,
so you have your cultish kind of things where self-sustaining societies, they live in an organization of themselves,
Okay.
and they sustain their own in their human abilities of living. So they have food processes. They have, like he says, they make their own energy. So they have to be like intuitive enough to like how to make energy. So magnets and copper wire.
okay.
Maybe somebody on a bike. Who knows, right?
exactly. That's what they had. What is like actually not an energy bike, but they had like they had bikes that made energy that you would go to work
Okay.
to do certain
okay.
jobs, but if you're like a stay-at-home person, you would walk on a thing like a treadmill that would provide its own energy.
Interesting. Maybe that could be incorporated in some of our everyday life and sustain some of our own power, but
Yeah.
not the governing side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
We can leave that out.
Yeah, like I'm not like too like I like listening to it. I don't believe everything that they put on there because, you know, you can't really trust like, you know, a disgruntled person, but you know, I've heard of cases of, you know, somebody might say one thing and might end up missing that used to work for a branch of government.
Right.
I mean, I think it was in Venezuela that, you know, like things are so bad over there that they had a president actually come up missing
Right.
and nobody still can't find them. They have a new president now, but you know,
I'm sure he's doing a great job.
how can you lose a president? Seriously. I
Right.
mean, like if something happened in this country like that, like that
Yeah.
person would have been found, they would have been dead,
Oh,
you know.
like
There would've been
Jimmy
uproar
Hoffa
or
kind of
anything.
style.
Yeah, it's like crazy stuff.
Yeah, or that plane that went missing in Malaysia Airlines.
They haven't. I haven't heard anything lately, but have they even figured out like what happened to it? Or
I don't.
anything?
There
I don't
was-
even know if they even figured out what happened. I can tell you what I think happened, and this is just from like a conspiracies, you know, standpoint. I believe that a government, like an anti-government organization, had took it and is going to do, you know, something to, you know, make it still identifiable, but you know, be able to, you know, use it for, you know, a terroristic type of thing.
Like a
Yeah,
weapon or
9/11.
something.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
mean, like,
So what do they do with those people then? They kill all the people?
The
Was
people-
they
that-
were all government employees. They were kidnapped.
Oh, they were all government employees? I didn't realize
They were
that.
all government employees.
Okay.
That's why it went
Wow.
so public in like national
Right,
and then
right.
international. So
Just because it was, okay.
And they
They
all,
weren't American though, were they?
some of them
Some of
were.
Some of them were.
yeah.
They were doing government contract work
Oh, okay.
for
I know some of them are Asian,
secret
or
projects,
Chinese.
I believe.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, that doesn't
Interesting.
surprise me.
In fact, two of the people there on that flight, from what I heard, were under special projects, which you cannot talk about what they do.
Right.
Big Brother's watching.
So is this guy part of the Freemason?
Yeah, what was the
Yeah,
purpose
what's
of
the
blue?
purpose of blue?
Because blue rocks.
Oh, that's it? Okay, blue, just like your
I was
cup,
wondering why he
blue
was
with
Yeah.
here.
Well,
Hey,
he's a
I'm not-
ghost, and he
That's
was,
what I was wondering.
he was part of the conversations.
Yeah, well, you know, like, you could actually, you know, like, he could be like, whatever, you know, you could think that he's his, you know, own mythical creature, you know.
I think the band's about ready to give another go. They're just starting out before we. They
guys
really like
looking
their
to play?
screen time. Well, here they are again, Rareform.
This one's called Every Sound. out nice. You come home and you're all alone and overlook the advice this time. Oh, he starts out cold in your chair and you just don't care and you're losing faith this month. Breathe out strong. No, it's important. I swear to God I'll even cut my chance open just to prove you wrong. For once, I know what I want to say. I just don't know how to say it. Every sound it makes stress me out. And I know what I want to feel. I just don't know how to feel it. And it brings me down. It's like every sound I learned from you. You raise your voice, I guess it's just bad luck, and got no one to blame, no one to blame. Changing my life, got this urge to make things right, yeah. Become someone, get out of this place. I know what I want to say, I just don't know how to say it. Every sound makes stress me out. And I know what I want to feel. I just don't know how to feel it. And it breaks me down. It's like every sound I learned from you. You can have this home I'm broken. You can have that wheels broken. You can have all those years back. You can have this home I'm broken. You can have that wheels broken. You can have all those years back. 'Cause everyone can see the fool you're making of yourself through eyes of love, and everyone can see the fool making of yourself through eyes of love, and everyone can see the fool making of yourself through eyes of love. Everyone can see the fool you're making of yourself through eyes of love. I know what I want to say, I just don't know how to say it. Every sound it makes stress me out. And I know what I want to feel, I just don't know how to feel it. And it breaks me down. It's like every sound I've learned from you. I've learned from you.
Sweet.
All right. You guys rock, dude. Alrighty. Cool song. What do you think?
Oh my goodness. I love live music.
Yeah.
I think that song was a song that could go mainstream.
Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah.
It had its breaks, it had its melodics, and it had turnarounds.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Alrighty. Continue on with the show here.
All right.
What about that video I showed you last night, Resurrection Mary
Oh, that
in
is
Chicago?
that was crazy.
Have you guys heard about that?
I haven't heard about this.
You?
Resurrection Mary. No, I have not.
It's about a lady that died in her early, I think, 20s or something like that.
Something like that,
Okay.
yeah.
Like really young. I don't know, was it she killed herself or was it car
No, she
accident?
got hit by a car
That's what it was.
after leaving a dance hall.
Okay. Okay.
And ever since then, like every so often, these cab drivers or people on the road see this white figure of a lady, young lady, just walking along down the street.
Huh.
And the first sighting, this cab driver picked her up, took her to her ballroom and everything.
Oh,
And then she
wow.
wanted to go home. And she mentioned the place where she lived was in town, but then she wanted to go to the cemetery. And
Wow.
she just ended up disappearing and everything. And I would love to check that out sometime.
Yeah, there's actually a guy talking about he actually picked her up in one of the dance halls,
Oh.
and he danced with her for like the whole night.
Yeah.
Did she dance good?
And he was flirting with
Quite
her
a
and
show.
everything, right? And so she's
Her
like,
hands were like ice cold.
yeah, like so, he's like, come up with smooth stuff like, your hands are cold, but it must mean you have a warm heart, like so.
Little did he know.
Yeah, so she's like, I'm about ready to go home. He's like, well, where do you live? She's like, well, I live at this house. So he goes by that, the house, and she's like, well, just take me over at this place. Drops her off at a cemetery, and gets out the car like, wait right here, I'll be right back, and disappears.
Wow.
There's actually been other shows that have talked about that besides
Why-
Unsolved Mysteries.
Why are they calling her Resurrection Mary, though?
Because the name of the cemetery where she's buried is Resurrection Cemetery.
Okay.
And her name's
and then
Mary.
Mary, yeah.
And Mary's her name.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So,
So did you wait all night for her? Or?
Well, no, he went home, and he, like, I guess the next day he went to the house that she
she
said
had
that
given
she
him. Yeah.
lived
Okay.
at, and her mom answered the door and said that she's been dead for like 5 years
Oh, wow.
at that time. So
It probably freaked him out.
yeah, it probably did.
and then there was a later story about these group of people that were driving down the road and saw her. And they
Yeah,
wanted to go back, but the lady was like, no, I don't want to go back. I want to get freaked out.
and there was another woman said that she actually hit a woman that was her, but she disappeared.
Yeah.
So it was,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
There- go ahead.
Back a few
Sorry.
years ago, maybe about 10 or so, in the Christian community that I was raised Christian, they were saying that they were seeing angels, or they would call them angels, people on the side of the road, the same kind of thing.
yeah.
And they would get in their car and they would say phrases like the trumpets are to the lips. Like weird stuff like that, which in Revelations they were saying that it's about time for the apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
10 years later, though, I think they're a little late.
Yeah.
I seen something similar on Unsolved Mysteries, but it wasn't about that. It's like this lady just comes out of nowhere and does some chance, like heals this guy that was hit by a car or something, or lightning or something like that. There's like so many unexplained phenomena that's going on. It's just unreal, I
Yeah.
think. But I don't know.
You seen the
I
Jesus toast?
Yeah.
Jesus face on toast.
yeah. I don't know if that's real or not.
I
I
don't
probably
think
Photoshop or something.
I have never seen Jesus on a piece of toast.
You've never seen him on a piece of toast.
Jesus.
Well, I have a different frame, but yeah. Serving it.
So he's Mexican now?
Well,
That's just what the
actually,
Mexicans call him.
they're so like spiritual in Latin America that they name their children after
Yeah.
Jesus. So and
Although I've never met a Magdalene, so.
But-
I have met Marys.
yeah, but something I want to talk about is the Transformers. And like how it came to the point where it had the cartoon where Bumblebee was the Beetle. Then
Okay.
it goes to the
That was a
train
race
wreck
car.
with Shia LaBeouf and all of this crappiness of ruining the whole Transformers franchise.
Don't look now, but the band's making fun of us.
What does that have to do with conspiracy theories?
Well,
That was our original topic.
that
that was
was
just
going
our
to be their
original topic.
original topic,
Was
but
Transformers, okay.
yeah.
Things
It's controlling
changed.
Transformers, too.
Oh, right.
The
Okay.
original host didn't show up, so
Yeah.
we didn't know what we were going to do for this.
Well, remember, so pop quiz. Transformers had a competition back in the 80s. Does anyone know? GoBots.
GoBots,
Go
yeah.
bots.
Go
I watched that all the time when I was a
Vaguely heard
kid.
that.
Right. Remember, it was on USA, Kaleidoscope.
Yep.
Telling my age, really.
Yeah.
They also had another show similar called Voltron.
Voltron, and well, that was like the previous, or the start of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
cooler
I thought they
gadgets.
kind of looked similar.
They do. Yeah, they had the little.
Yeah, 'cause
Have you noticed that those the Power Rangers,
there's actually a new Power Rangers movie
like
coming out.
There
like
is, yeah.
have you noticed that like the actual like show looked like it was done in someone's backyard?
Yeah, it was-
The original ones, yeah, because it just looked so cheesy.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
you see somebody get thrown into like a building and it's like cardboard and drywall.
Go,
No
go,
special
Power
effects.
Rangers.
The fire's all fake. It's just like a fan with like cloth.
Speaking of movies like that, what about the new Turtles movie coming out?
yeah, I was needed to turn movies.
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
I am so worried about that. Get the fact that
heard
I
it was
grew
pretty
up
good.
I grew up watching the Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles.
yeah.
Like
Well-
because I was like really young, like when it came out in the 80s and stuff, and they don't look like turtles.
Exactly.
They
Well,
don't.
they
They
do.
don't.
It's
No.
Like their
weird.
face. Their
It
face
doesn't-
don't
is
look like a
different, but
turtle.
Their whole body's still.
Like the body, yeah, but like
It's
it's.
gonna be weird, yeah. I was a little nervous about it. I heard
Their-
it's supposed to be
their
good, but
heads
I'm a
are-
little nervous about it.
I mean,
distorted.
but
Yeah,
then again,
yeah.
didn't Michael Bay also do the Transformers, right?
That's what everyone keeps saying. They-
All right. Now,
don't.
that's where I'm skeptic because the Transformers
Teased
was
over there.
because like if I noticed from 1, 2, and 3, 1 and 2 were pretty much like the same thing.
That's true.
I
Then
saw that one.
it was a little bit different when they added that cute little blonde, instead of having Megan Fox. So
Are you talking about the third one? You mean?
That's why I don't
Yeah.
like
The
the
third
movies.
one, yeah.
but
Because of Megan Fox, the cute boy.
No, because it was all about the humans rather than
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Transformers.
that's true.
Well, I think what they wanted to do was, talk about, the criticalness of,
Just, it
of
just
the
sucks.
kid. But, they put too much time on the
Yeah,
kid
a lot of effort was there instead of the.
and not all on, them.
Yeah.
And you know what?
That's what it is.
If they really wanted their own planet, they should have, hooked up with Oprah because she's always giving away free stuff. Like seriously, like
Maybe we
It's
should
better.
get on
every
Everyone look under your
Transformer
seats.
gets a planet.
Maybe we should get on our network too.
There you go.
It's like you get a planet, you get a planet, you get a planet, you get a terraformer, you get a terraformer. Everyone gets one.
And just for being a guest on the show, you get a pocket-sized one.
Ouch.
Right, whatever the pocket knives. Right?
We're getting close to the 10-minute mark. You think we should?
Oh well, we can
Or
talk a little bit more, and we can give like the
Alright.
last 5 minutes to the
That
band.
sounds good.
But like
Last 5 minutes, sir.
which cartoon did you like the best?
Growing up?
Yeah, like when it came to the Transformers.
Oh, as far as Transformers. Or you mean like in that era?
Oh well,
In general.
you know how how they did Beast Wars too, right?
Oh, I hated that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
What-
I remember.
yeah, wasn't that also a Transformers franchise?
Yeah, it was.
I vaguely remember doing some research.
was after the
I
originals.
watched the last
I
movie,
think it was something about like something happened with the Allspark
yeah.
and transformed Earth, and they all turned from from like robots that
to
turn into
bugs.
like machines that they turn into like bugs and animals, and Bumblebee was actually a bee. And
Yeah,
Yeah, I
stuff
think
like
I remember
that.
that.
Yeah, I remember that vaguely too. Now you
remember.
mention it.
It was a
Watching
CGI
it, but I remember
on
it.
Fox
Mm-hmm.
when they had the Fox Kids Club.
When CGI took 10 years to make.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad Transformer shows, what about a recent one called Rescue Bots? You ever seen that one?
Mm-mm.
It's like it's
Oh,
made,
I've
it's
seen
made for
some.
real little kids.
Was it
But-
was it like a subsidiary of Rescue Squad?
Something like that, yeah. But they're like, I don't know, the animation's all screwed up.
The animation's all
It's-
screwed up.
I don't know.
Some of those kid shows these days are kind of weird compared to like what we watched when we were young. Like I don't know.
Have you seen some of the Japanese cartoons that these kids are
Hey.
watching?
You talking about like anime, or are you just talking about like don't diss on anime, okay?
Oh, I've seen some pretty weird.
There are some
anime.
weird ones.
I
but-
mean, like I watched this one anime show or something, and it was just like I just felt like I lost all my brain cells.
Where the chicks half naked.
No, that's a different.
whole other category.
That's a whole other.
That's what my
category.
friend watched all the time.
That one involves
What, like One
tentacles
Piece or
and stuff
something?
like that.
Yeah, my son's into One Piece a lot.
One
but
Piece is-
I was in I got introduced to like Ninja Scroll
yeah,
and then Ghost in the Shell.
yeah, Ghost in the
Oh, that
Shell
was
too.
awesome.
Yeah, the Appleseed ones. You ever see those?
I saw Ghost in the Shell.
Those are more geared for adults. So like, just because it's Japanese animation, just because it's animation, doesn't mean that it's for kids either. Like, you guys, we seem to be stuck in this category that.
Well, that's why I thought we were talking about more for the adult
Like
ones.
Yeah.
Turtles, Transformers.
You know, they probably would come up with an adult version of the Ninja Turtles. But you know,
Yeah, well,
like
you know,
they should come
first
up
one
with
was like
something
that.
for people right around our age that grew up with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like
That's what I was.
that's
looking
our
for.
that's our throwback, you know, and they're
Right.
giving it to the younger generation
That doesn't
are
know
our
anything about
offspring,
that.
that
Yeah,
don't
that
know
doesn't
anything
know
about
anything
it.
about it,
It's
yeah.
like
And that's mainly because they are the future to where they make their money.
yeah, I want to be able to tell our future kids that you'd be like, I remember a time when this didn't suck. You know?
Still do that.
That's because everything was made a lot better back then.
You know what really blows my mind though?
Hmm.
Imagine like 20, 30 years from now, all the elderly people are going to be listening to metal and gangster rap.
That's gonna be weird.
I mean, like, seriously.
Isn't today supposed to be the day in Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Next year.
Like
Yeah.
today or
Next
Today?
year, next year,
next year.
2015.
2015 is the
2015?
day. of
Okay.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So we should
Pretty
be on
good, close,
hoverboards and
Yeah.
Right.
flying
I know,
cars
yeah.
and
Like,
stuff.
That's why I'm disappointed. Where the heck are they playing cars?
You know,
The
it's gonna
Jetsons.
be awesome because like my kids are gonna be around bringing their kids like, what's this, Grandpa? It's Tupac. Listen and love it.
Right. This is the roots.
When I was your age, he was dead and still coming out with albums.
It's like Michael Jackson's new when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Elvis is still making money like 40 years after he's dead.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think they ever die. It's just like the conspiracies again, where they're.
Well, that's
they're
why
getting
we're
away.
doing this. Maybe the
They're
same
in
thing happened to
hiding.
us too.
I honestly think that
Maybe-
Tupac
Maybe Elvis
is
a
in
Freemason, too.
protective hiding. I believe he's in protective hiding through witness protection. That's
Maybe.
what I believe.
Maybe Elvis is in a Freemason too. They say he faked his death.
He died on the crapper.
Supposedly.
No, seriously, he had a thing where he couldn't poop and he wasn't seeing the doctor and he died from having all that waste inside. It was like the bacteria killed him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what they say.
So they
There's
say.
been all these conspiracy shows that he's still alive though. Talk about conspiracy.
Maybe Elvis is the new Bigfoot.
Could be.
We had an Elvis sighting today.
You know how to set a trap up for them then, right?
Peanut butter bananas.
sandwich.
There you go. Get a big box, steak,
Go put some
Free
Oreos
sandwich.
in it.
platter
Pretty
of them.
bad.
Peanut butter and Oreos.
Well, I don't think the band's gonna wait for the last 5
Yeah.
minutes, so they've been kind of pushy today, but they're pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
don't-
Making fun of us during a show too, I noticed.
Deep down inside their kids too.
Right?
Well, here they are for their one last big hurrah.
Yeah.
This is their last big hurrah.
All right, guys, we were Rareform. This last song's called Runaway. We want to thank everybody for having us on today. So. I write my feelings on corners of these pages, and I look out the window to see if we're through. I got my clothes all packed in the trunk because I think it's the right thing to do. Michigan, but I know I was the weakest one of the crew. When I get back home to the mitten, baby, you can bet that I'll be stronger for you. I feel so bad for abandoning me. All I knew to stitch a few open wounds. I let a girl get inside my head. There was nothing I could do. Put me in my place. I had to fall in love the hard way. It's amazing I can't face. It's a damn shame how things change. Just to run away. I know I'm gonna see you again. Back in Michigan, I took my feelings and my overdramatics, and I left them both in the yard. Dropped so hard, and then I took that thing off the shelf, and I smashed it, that stupid little heart in a jar. Just to run away. I know I'm gonna see you again someday. Put me in my place. I had to fall in love the hard way. It's amazing I can't face. It's a damn shame how things change. Just to run away. I know I'm gonna see you again. Back in Michigan, you can tell the world that you're broken. I don't see it when you cry. I can tell the world I'm outspoken, and I just wanted to find. That was the old me, man, he was crazy, almost ruined his whole life. I can tell the world that I'm broken, and it wouldn't be a lie. I write my feelings on the corners of these pages, and I look out the window to see if we're through. I got my clothes all packed in the trunk because I think it's the right thing to do. Just to run away. I know I'm gonna see you again someday. Put me in my place. I had to fall in love the hard way. It's amazing I can't face. It's a damn shame how things change. Just to run away. I know I'm gonna see you again. Back in Michigan. 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 Michigan.